I love this. This is for celebrities1.tv, the good news channel. My name's Craig Metrowich and I'm with Ronnie Mule. And if you missed the intro, you got to go and check it out on facebook.com/celebrities1.tv. That's the Facebook. We've done a quick little live intro just to set the tone. But in this uncut HD version, I'm going to interview Ronnie Mule, Mount Everest summiteer, putting together the RSA ladies team to attempt to climb Everest. And what I wanted to get in this interview is the logistics, because imagine the preparation to take something like that on. So Ronnie, let's get into it. Ladies, how big is the team that you're going to be taking through as far as the summit?
So Craig, we have 4 expeditioners, 4 ladies that are climbing. We have obviously base camp staff, we have porters, we have Sherpas. I mean,
so it's a big team, apart from the actual ladies climbing. It's actually a massive team.
Very much so. There's a lot of support around them. Each of them will have their own Sherpa. We will have a kitchen base camp setup, which will have a bunch of staff, and then we'll have some guides getting us into base camp. So yeah, it's a big operation, and I mean, we go on for 2 months. So the preparation in terms of food, gear and the rest is huge. You know, it's one of those situations where if you leave your toothbrush behind, well, I'm afraid you're not going to brush your toothbrush for a while, you know. So yeah, so we've got to think of we've got lists of we've got to think of absolutely everything for.
And let's talk medical. I mean, from a medical emergency point of view, I mean that must be quite a big thing. It's like you've got to think about all the things you'd need. I mean, if you forget, for example, let's say a blood pressure meter or a blood measure, oxygen meter, or I mean that's quite serious then. You can't exactly go, hey, listen guys, we need to go back down and go and buy one from the local spaza. It's not going to happen.
No, absolutely, it's exactly right. We are on the south side of Everest, and on the south side there is actually a temporary clinic that gets set up every single climbing season. There's usually 3 or 4 doctors that volunteer their time over the climbing season. We make a contribution towards their costs. That gives us free access to them.
Okay, I always wondered how that works.
Yeah.
So they in effect are almost volunteering, but at a really discounted rate, to put it simply.
They are indeed. There's also on the south side of the mountain, there is the opportunity for someone to be rescued by helicopter up to a certain altitude, up to Camp 2, which is at 6,500 meters. So if someone gets into difficulty, we do have that opportunity.
So surviving the death zone, as I understand it, it literally is that. They talk about Everest, for those that don't know. Everest has got a death zone. They literally call it the death zone. They actual fact refer to your book, because remember, what's the title of your book again?
Yeah, it's exactly right. It's Everest Surviving the Death Zone. The death zone is essentially that section above 8,000 meters where physically the body is actually starting to die.
Sure.
That's what's happening.
And regardless of who you are, so even if I'm mega fit, the same rules will apply.
The same rules will apply. The physical body is just not designed to be up above 8,000 meters for extended periods of time. So our last camp on the south side will be around 8,000 meters, and the push for the summit is we want to get up there and we want to get down as soon as we possibly can and not spend time there.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit more detail around your preparation, fitness-wise. What is the fitness level requirements for anybody wanting to do something like this? Because I can see it's not an age thing, right? I mean, you can have somebody who's, let's say 20, can't do it. They actually can't even get to base camp. You can get somebody that's in their 60s, but because they've climatized correctly and they've got the mental strength, they can actually get to the top. So how does that work?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I mean, I think it, you know, as I might have alluded to in the intro, is that you don't have to be a super athlete to climb Everest, but you've got to be in good physical shape, that's for sure. Good pair of legs, good heart, good lungs. I mean, those things need to be working. And age is not the issue. I find that as I get older, the big thing with me is that my recovery is a lot slower. So that's difficult. But you know, the interesting thing is that the statistics show that younger people on Everest have less success than older people.
What? That's a fascinating stat. Sorry, that's fascinating.
Yeah, I think that, you know, what comes out of that is that generally people that are a bit older have a little more experience and have more mental strength.
Yeah.
The younger people, I think, are more.
What you're saying is we've been through a hell of a lot more.
Well, perhaps, but the younger folks, super athletes often move too quickly. They do, they think that they've got this thing licked. They move through too quickly, don't acclimatize well, and that's often not a good recipe for success.
Right.
So
so in my language, it's pacing yourself is so important.
Very much so.
Okay.
Very
It's like
much
you
so.
can't go turbo mode and think that's going to help you get to the top.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the incredible thing about Everest is that it stretches over 2 months, and one of the reasons for that is we've got to go through this process of acclimatization. So we're going to go up to Camp 1, we're going to spend a couple of nights, come back down to base camp again. I'm going to keep leapfrogging our way up the mountain to essentially get our bodies blood to be thickened.
How long is this whole process? Just like that process of getting your blood thickened and the right type of oxygenation, so that is it like, Craig, it's a week or is it 2 weeks? Just give me an idea.
No, we're looking at about 4 to 6 weeks process.
Ronnie, I mean, this is serious prep.
Yeah, very serious.
4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, I mean, amazing commitment, and I really admire that from anybody trying to do it. And I can understand why it's still seen as, one of those things. A lot of people have made it to the summit, but there's still intrinsically this massive obstacle to overcome. As in, humanly, it's still a massive thing, eh?
Very much so. And I mean, just being away from your family and loved ones for a 2-month period, I mean, that alone, never mind all the physical things that you're undergoing, the mental challenges, being away from home, you get homesick. And the fascinating thing is that when you're expected to perform at your best, you're actually in your worst condition, because you've been in base camp for 6 to 8 weeks, you're tired, you're worn out, but you've actually now got to perform at your best as you get higher in the mountain. So it's particularly demanding. I mean, there's you've got to be in the best shape of your life, that's for sure.
So Ronnie, really heading towards the wrap up now so when do we meet again for us to find out if you all made it?
Well,
so give me an idea of when my viewers can come back and watch the next part.
Well, we head off the latter part of March. We'll be on the mountain in April and May, so we're all scheduled to be back in South Africa beginning of June. So sometime during the course of the month of June, we'll be able to give you some good news.
All right, so this is Craig Metrowich with Ronnie Mule, Mount Everest Summiteer, and this is just to get a little bit more detail on the ladies team that's going to be trying to summit Everest, where Ronnie will help with the logistics, the planning, the preparation. And I've got to thank you, Ronnie. This is, it's really inspiring chatting to you, because you make me realize is that the human spirit is still the most important thing, because you're saying is 80% mental attitude, that human spirit, the other 20% is the physicality and the other things related to it. Is that a fair comment to wrap up?
I think that's a fair comment. There's no doubt about that, Craig. And I just I just want to go back to that intro and say that if anyone wants to follow this, please go to the Adventures Global Facebook page, and you'll be able to get some daily updates there. And also just thanks to K-Way, who have
great sponsors that you have
stepped forward to make down suits a very important part of the gear that is needed for the expedition. So
okay, shout out to K-Way. Thank you, man. It's wonderful that you're supporting such an amazing guy, Ronnie Mule, and the team. And Ronnie, from my side, blessings to you, blessings to the team. Stay safe, keep a clear mind, and preparation, plan, logistics, and I hope to get that message. Hey Craig, we've made it, we're at the top.
Fantastic.
That's a wrap. Celebrities1.tv, the Good News channel. Go and watch it. YouTube, Facebook, you can find out what's exciting about Everest. And we look forward to seeing Ronnie in probably June for the follow-up. That's a wrap.